continue my graduate work in the winter of '67, I entered a world thoroughly unknown to me. Graduate students attended classes at night, in the evening, and by day they worked, and so by day I worked. I substitute taught at two very different schools. One was Jefferson, an open school near Arena Stage. The other was Shaw Junior High, 7th in Rhode Island. When I came in the middle of the year, Shaw was only on its third principal, and that was in January. Many called it shameful Shaw. It was the epitome of a school for students who struggled greatly. Had Ed Reynolds not left the social studies department and went to Swanson to be administrator, Cy Stiss would never have interviewed me, and I would never have gone to Wakefield. I was interviewed by Vic Blue, the assistant principal, one of the legendary wrestling coaches in Arlington history. When Tom Cabela's Wakefield's principal, we called him the man from GLAAD, called for the final questions. He said, "Miss McBride, I'm worried about you. You're too small." Would we ever say to somebody today, "You're too small," or "You're too thin"? We wouldn't do it. I said, "Mr. Cabela's, I taught at Shaw." He said, oh, I guess I'll be all right. Had the first year teacher who was teaching next door to me not gotten sick and left, I might never have met Ray Anderson, who came to Wakefield that spring. Wakefield was a large school, approximately 2,200 students. Consequently, some of the departments were very large. Sometimes there'd be 3 generations of teachers. We'd have 25 in a department. Hoffman Boston had closed, and its students attended Wakefield, and Wakefield became an integrated school. These years at Wakefield were exciting ones indeed. Students began to feel that they wanted more control in what they were studying, how they were governed, and in some cases, how they were affected by national events and international events, i.e. the Vietnam War. Elective programs were developed, interdisciplinary courses were taught. Students received places on governing boards and committees, all in attempts to give them the voices they felt were their due in the course of so much happening around them. Grace Dupre, Wakefield social studies teacher, and I both taught a semester elective in African American history in order to give students a sense of this important aspect. Oh, this must have been somebody's baptism. No. It's easy for us to forget how important these courses were in the context of our newly integrated school. There were days when we tried to obtain textbooks which featured African Americans and women. One evening we went to the school board where we asked for more inclusion of African American studies and women's studies in our curriculum. Dr. Harold Wilson, what a sweet man he was, the Associate Superintendent of Instruction, came over, sat with us, and talked about his plans for change. This was heady business for a second-year teacher to receive this much attention from the Associate Superintendent, indeed one of the most beloved educators in the history of the Arlington schools. The head of the Wakefield PTA, that old Cold Warrior, Daniel Graham, tried to get several of us fired for being too left and being too liberal. Fortunately, Superintendent Chisholm's judgment prevailed. However, it was somewhat chilling after the facts were known. The formation of the Woodlawn program grew out of the efforts to help students and staffs have more choice, more autonomy, more responsibility for their own learning, formation of their learning environment. The great educational and philosophical questions we had to balance was how much individual student responsibility could students accept and could we place on their shoulders versus the need to serve the individual students who were not ready for, could not thrive and produce in that environment. These are still the questions we wrestle with today. I'll always be grateful to Ray, students, and teachers for founding Woodlawn, the school board, the superintendent, Dr. Chisholm, who were willing to support these ideas. At Woodlawn, now the Capitol Hospice, a sweet memory was the day that Superintendent Larry Cuban came and the boys dressed up in tuxedos to welcome him. He was clearly pleased. It was a wonderful, wonderful memory. Mostly there were days of excitement, expansive learning on individual learning interests and preferences, and an air of informality and fun. There were also days of sadness. Our merger with the H-B Woodlawn Junior H-B Boston program in the Stratford building occurred in '78. Our name was changed to H-B Woodlawn. When I became an administrator and I attended our conference at Airlie, I was one of 11 administrators. out of a total of approximately 80. So you get a little sense of the change there. Our Hill program was added when it became difficult for older students to be attending our crowded high schools. Space was developed for what currently is our Stratford program, construction efforts of '95. Though H-B Woodlawn has changed with the times, depending on the students and parents, or the policies of the school board, what we've tried to retain is our culture and nature of student governance, participation for all, respect and tolerance for the individual student, student choice within an informal environment. Throughout the years, both teachers and administrators at HBW and in the country reflect on their teaching administration, where the questions asked were, what are the elements of good teaching? What are the characteristics of effective administrators? What is the role of school climate and achievement? Why do some students learn more easily than others? What are the conversations we should be having about race and learning? Attempts have been made to answer these questions, whether we write PIPs, PDPs, SMART goals, we're trying to get at the elements of good teaching and learning, and teach those characteristics to our teachers and administrators with the goals to enhance student learning. There are some ghosts in this room, and they wish us well. Doris Pulliam, English. Judy Mayhew, librarian. Earl Hartness, music. Okay. They have been our teachers, were our colleagues, and they are gone, all wonderful educators. We have people in this county who I would often remember, and that would be Steve Cursis at Yorktown, Harold Wilson, our first associate superintendent, Roy Griffin, a beautiful, wonderful man who had come to us from Hoffman, Boston, when we integrated. So we have these people, we have them in our minds, we always have them in our heart for our teaching. I'd just like to close with two things. One, for those who are not here, who are not at HB now, I want to just read to you the letter I sent to each staff member. It is with mixed emotions that I announce that I'll be retiring in August. It's mixed because H-B Woodlawn have been my vocational homes for over 40 years. It will be difficult to leave, but it's time to do so. It's been my pleasure and with a sense of wonder to work with such a dedicated, caring, and loving staff. I can think of no instance that in your teaching or interaction with students, you did not put them first. I've come to some of you way beyond the 11th hour, asked for your help. You've assisted a student or family in essential ways. I've always been grateful for the opportunity to continue to teach as well as administer, for we as administrators know that it broadens our perspective on teaching and learning. Any errors in judgment have truly been my own, and they are not the rest of the management's. You are in excellent hands with Frank and Casey, and that is a comfort to me. During the days and months to come, I'll take the opportunity to tell you individually how you've contributed to the program. Finally, I want to say from my letter to Dr. Hobbs, I hope that I have been helpful in providing students with an understanding of the history of our country, thus enabling them to be successful adults and citizens in this great republic, for that is what teachers are supposed to do.